Hi, so I'm Madison again, and I recently found this coffee table base that I had back in the 80s, and so I'm going to see if I can't turn it into something a little more modern. And it used to have gold, and it had bevel glass on it. And I've already taken a piece of sandpaper to it and sanded down the finish, and then I sprayed it with a hammered finish, and I didn't like it. So I'm going to paint it with a flat black paint, and then I'm going to make the top for it. So right now I'm just going to wipe it down and get ready for another coat of paint. I'm pretty much done, and what I'm going to do is let it completely dry, flip it over, and paint it some more. So for my tabletop, I've got these cedar boards. Now I've sanded them down, but I want to create kind of a beechwood type look. So what I'm going to do is paint them all white with one coat of white. But we have to do a very thin coat because we're going to sand most of that off, and then we'll be putting stain over the top of them. It's a really cool technique, and they'll look beautiful when we're all done. So while the table bottom is drying, I'll be painting the top.
And what kind of paint are you using?
Just use regular flat house paint. And like I said, I'm just going to do a real light coat, nothing. I don't really need to get super covered. I just need to get some white on there. And what I'll be doing is sanding it off, and the paint will reveal the grain in the wood, and that's going to make it look really beautiful once we put stain on it. It's going to give it kind of a beachy look. So now that I've got them all dry, the paint's all dry, now I'm just going to lightly sand it off. I'm going to use 150 grit sandpaper. I don't want to remove too much of the grain. I like that. I don't want to smooth that out too much. And so I'm just going to use 150 grit, and then I've got to cut them to fit my table. And once I've cut them and got them, I'll do the 220s to smooth them out and the edges, and then we'll get them ready to stain. See how the grain shows through? I want to leave some paint on here so that you can see all that beautiful grain, and then we're going to put stain over the top. So you don't want to sand all of the white off, you just want to have enough As you can see, I've just got it lightly sanded. You can see how beautiful the wood grain is. What I'm going to do now is measure these boards, and then when they're ready and the size that I want, I'm going to put a Kona colored stain right over the top of that, and then I'm just going to wipe it right off. And so what that's going to do is give it kind of like a driftwood color, so it'll be really pretty. But the whole paint of the whole point of the paint was to get that wood grain to come out, and it looks really beautiful. Okay, so I want the top to be completely square, and the base is 30 inches, and I wanted to get 32 inches, so I wanted an inch all the way around. But the boards together make 33 and 2/3, I believe, inch, so I'm going to cut them all and measure them and cut them all to that length, and sand the edges, and then I'll stain them. I'm at my favorite part. So I'm going to show you my little trick on getting this to look just like beached wood. What I'm going to do is take my Kona stain, and this is the kind that has the varathane or the polyurethane already in it. So I'm just going to take some and put it on really heavy and thick, just like that. Get it all over the board. Make sure to get it real heavy, just like this. And then what I do is just wipe it right back off. And you can see it makes a really nice, beautiful gray color. Just like that. And that makes it look just like driftwood. Oh, see how pretty that is? It's so gorgeous. So I'm going to lay out all of the tabletop boards and then measure them for a brace board. So you want to make sure that they all fit together nicely. Sometimes if they're bowed a little bit, they won't fit well. But now that we got them all straight, now we're just going to find where we want our bracers. Okay, so I'm just going to set this down over the top and make sure I'm measured out equally on both sides. Okay, so you want to make sure that your boards are completely straight, and you want to try and get them centered as much as possible. It looks like I need to go over a little bit. So kind of a cheat for me is that I have this right here, and that's dead center. So as long as I put one of these boards in the center, then I should be good. Okay, so now that I've got it centered, what I'm going to do is just draw a line right down the middle so I can tell where this stops. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a bar that goes from here to here, and it'll be right here on both sides. Measured out my stabilizing bars, and I'm going to cut them and get them attached. Put this back over the top. Measure. So I know where this goes. All right. So before I attach this top, I'm going to put some nail heads on it, and these are the nail heads I'm going to use. They're 1 1/4 inch wide. Actually, I have some already open. And this kind of wood is actually soft enough that you can just put them in with your hands, but I've got my mallet just in case. So I'm going to do 2 on each side. And I'm going to bring them about a 1/2 inch. Right there. This will be my guide right here. I'm not going to do them absolutely perfect and measure them out because this isn't that kind of a table. I want this to be kind of a industrial, not so perfect table. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put one right down the center to make it a little bit more secure. "28 inches. 27.5. Just putting some stain in the nail holes. I'm just going to wipe it away. I don't mind having nail holes in here because I like it to be, the whole idea is that it's supposed to be weathered and reclaimed wood. Now that the glue's been drying, now I've got these little, these are actually hose clamps, and I'm going to put them on to finish this off, and then we'll be all ready. Pretty cool. We're all finished with the table, and the really cool part about this table was that the base was from the 1980s. I've had it from the 80s or 90s, somewhere around there. And the wood was just left over from my wood pile, and the nail heads were just left over from an older project. So I didn't have to put any money into this, except for what I pretty much already had. So it's a brand new table, and it's really cool, and it's updated, and be a lot of fun for someone. Bye.